Good morning! The sun is shining. Welcome back to another video. Yeah, I saw in the comments of the onboard lab I posted recently that some of you also noticed that I finally got faster with the Aprilia than with my Carva. So let me explain how I got there. But before we start, I want to share how I felt when I saw the low 146 on my dashboard. Because yeah, I think if you're riding on track yourself and you do a new personal best, you know how great that feels. You see, I was pretty happy at the end of this lap. Alright, how did I get faster? I talked about suspension in my geometry video, and it seemed to have helped a lot of other Aprilia riders as well to increase the swing arm pivot point. So that made the bike more stable at corner exit. But then when I analyzed my onboard videos with the pro rider Spider Martin, he realized that the remaining instability that was only in right corners was not a suspension issue, but my body position. Actually, my Carva feels like on rails, no matter how lazy I move on the bike, but with the Aprilia, now I know that I have to hang off with my body a lot at corner exit to be able to accelerate hard. After training on the pit bike in the winter, I went to Assen end of April, and I already managed to go down much lower with my upper body on both sides. Now when I came back to Assen end of May, I was easily sliding my elbow in left and in right corners. In the long right corner at the beginning, suddenly I touched my elbow without even trying, and that was great because now this body position feels quite natural, and the exit from both left and right corners are much smoother than in the past. Before we go on with the other points, I show you my fastest lap of day 1 with old tires. Have a look at the gears. There are some differences to when I came here last time, and the rest we analyze later. By the way, the sound is really crisp this time. I really love it. It's because I used my Akrapovic exhaust again. Shit. You saw a very empty track. Why is that? Yeah, it's because that was my fastest lap on that day. Usually on those laps there's not much traffic, otherwise it wouldn't be the fastest lap. If you would like to see overtakes, I got plenty of them for another video, because at the end of day 2 we did an endurance race and that was so much fun. We started from P1, but the guy in P2 was on full attack mode. His name is Ollie. He was already quick on day 1, as you can see here in the timesheets. But when I made a big step on day 2, he did as well. And in the race, we were leading the first half an hour with quite a good gap to the rest of the field. But then my team made a mistake with our pit stops, and I think, yeah, Ollie and his team made a bit the same mistake. That was why we couldn't win the race, but more about that in another video. Here, just a teaser of our fight. It was a lot of fun, and yeah, greetings to Ollie. Back to the idea of this video, how did I improve to a low 146? So on the first straight I used different gears. So before I went from 5th to 3rd gear, and now I go down to 2nd gear in the first corner. This is because I ride with less engine brake to keep more speed into corners, which is good in long corners like turn 3. But into turn 1 you need to brake really hard and also accelerate hard out of it. So I tried to do this corner in 2nd gear this time, and this allowed me to brake close to 150 meters sign because I got more engine brake in 2nd gear. And then at corner exit I also got more power due to the higher revs. Hi guys, that's my face, by the way. I want to add a bit more about engine brake here, because it is quite important for how you brake and how you enter a corner. And I just said that I ride with less engine brake now. So how is that possible? Unfortunately, it's not possible with every bike, but with the more modern bikes like the Aprilia, you can adjust the engine brake in the display. So I have 3 modes for the Aprilia. I will later show you how to change it. But first of all, why is it important? The stronger the engine brake, the later you can brake, because if you downshift the gears, the revs go up and the engine brakes or slows down the rear wheel. And if you have a lot of engine brake and you shift down the gears quickly, then the engine brake is so strong that the rear is just sliding. That's why I think under some videos someone also asked, do I use the rear brake? I will show you one video now. It's not the rear brake, it's just engine brake. So you see the rear is really starting to slide, and that way you can also enter the corner in a drift. So professional riders, you will see it quite a lot, that they are sliding and then smoothly go into the corner. And that is actually, of course, it's not easy, but it's not super hard. It would be much harder if you try to do this with your rear brake, because then it's very hard to just brake enough to go into the slide, but not lock up the rear. But if you do it like with a strong engine brake and downshifting early, the rear is still spinning. And then as you enter the corner, the revs go down. And then at some point, the rear has the same speed again as the front tire. That means it goes smoothly back in line. But yeah, why did I say I ride with less engine brake now or want to try that? It's because I was always riding on highest setting on mode 3, which is strongest engine brake for the Aprilia. And as I said, I like it, but as soon as I arrive at the corner, I get stuck. Because then when you're at the middle of the corner, you need to go off the front brake and need to go on the throttle again. And in this transition phase, if the engine brake is still too strong, you slow down too much and lose the momentum. If you watch the other videos, you saw it in when I talked to the pro rider, that, for example, back straight in Zolder, you brake into the chicane and then I completely get stuck in the chicane. So the pro rider suggested me to try to ride with less engine brake. So I went down to mode 1, which is the slowest. Actually, let me show you how to change it. So you push this button for very long. Then you go into the pre-settings for your riding modes. I usually ride in track 1 mode, and then you need to go down. So like this, you can go up and down to the second one, which is the Aprilia engine brake. And there, if you go right, you can go to 3 or to 1 or to 2. So as I said, I was riding on mode 3 and then I went down to 1 and I couldn't do any corner. And that is because if the engine brake is not very strong, the rear doesn't slow down a lot, which means you would need to brake earlier. And as I was braking at the same braking marker, I went wide. And it really feels like the bike is pushing you wide. So then I went up 1 to 2, and this is something I still felt okay. I somehow need to brake a bit harder in the front, but I could also keep more speed in long corners, which was very nice. But then in some other corners, I still felt like it's pushing me wide, and then I used the thumb brake. But we talk about the thumb brake later. The engine brake setting 2 was actually the setting I used to do the 146 lap, the fastest lap, and I will also keep it on this mode now for the future. Here in turn 2 I hit the limiter in 3rd gear. That was because the tire was quite old and was spinning more than a new one. I also hit this corner pretty good here in this lap, so I didn't hit the limiter very often. Also in my fastest lap with a fresh tire, I didn't hit the limiter, but I maybe was a bit slower here because I didn't get close enough to the apex. In Strubben, in the difficult left corner, I actually like this corner here. Most riders hate this. I tried to do it in 1st gear to have better turning with higher engine brake, but then the exit is too wild with the Aprilia. With my Kawasaki, I have to do it in 1st gear because the Kawa doesn't have any power below 10,000 RPM. But the Aprilia does, so I kept it in 2nd gear here, and then I use the thumb brake for better turning. The thumb brake is a rear brake on the left handlebar, which you can use at the last part of the corner entry to pull the bike into the corner. Or you can also use it to control slides or wheelies at corner exit. But I don't do this, I only use it at the corner entry. The rest of the lap is not much different from gearing perspective, but there are a few more things to the better lap time. My corner entry speed is now better, and it's a combination of a few things. So let's summarize how I improve corner entry and exit speed. At corner entry, I ride with less engine brake to bring more speed into corners. Then in corners where you have to brake hard and accelerate hard, like T1, I ride 1 gear lower to have more engine brake and better exit. Thumb brake, I only use it in Strubbenau where I would like to go 1 gear lower, but for the exit reason I stay in 2nd. So I simulate more engine brake for better turning with a thumb brake. And then for corner exit, I have a better geometry and suspension setting combined with hanging down lower to push the bike up and accelerate harder. And now I also went down with the TC from 4 to 3. Maybe next time I go down further to 2, because of course the less the TC restricts you from accelerating hard, the faster you can exit, but it's also a risk to a high side. so I don't want to make too many steps on a single day. And the last thing is I came back to the same track twice in 1 year. This helps because then you already remember all braking markers and entry points from the beginning, and then you can quickly concentrate on each section to improve there, or for example to add the thumb brake or whatever. One thing I'm not happy with yet is how quick I can flick the bike in chicanes. I think it is still way too slow, so I want to improve that on my next track day. Enough talking, now I show you my fastest lap. First from inside helmet view, so you can imagine my focus, so where I'm looking at, and also my body position. And then from cockpit view to finish the video. Why did I go faster in this lap then? It's just basically because I use fresh front tire, which helps for better turning, and yeah, I'm more confident on corner entry. And a fresh rear tire, which helps to accelerate harder because it has less slip. Yeah, let me know what you want to see next. See you in the next video.